WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out bright future we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions, fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Yes, guys, welcome back to Eagle Eye Football and welcome back to another episode of TACT-EAGLE. And now you're probably sitting there thinking, what the hell are you guys doing? We don't play until next week. Why are we analysing
the QPR stream? I'm joking.
Why are we analysing a game 2 weeks before we play? Well, there was a little thing called deadline day happening on Friday. And we thought, this is probably one of our busiest windows ever. Why not talk about it? Why not talk about how these players can come in, how they can affect the team, and at the end we give them a complete round of saying this is how our team will play. This is where I think we are very strong now. Here's where I think we probably could have improved a little bit, and here's what we feel like this team could do throughout the season. And there's going to be a caveat saying that they don't get injured, because obviously injuries are a thing in football that you just can't predict.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into any of that, I'm joined here with Mr. Statman Dan. How's it going?
Yeah, good. It's been very nice to actually spend some time looking at these new players. And you know what? Actually, it's made me very excited for the rest of the season, to be honest. Yeah, I think Dougie's obviously done his homework on these players, and I'm excited. And also, I think the QPR game has been confirmed for that Tuesday for Tuesday the 17th. I think. So that's another good thing. So I'll be hoping to go to that one when the tickets come out. How are you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm happy. I think that this is one of them times where it's very early international break, but it's one of the ones you're thinking, okay, we've had a bit of a rough start. Probably should have got a few more points than we actually have got, but the last game we played was a very good result, and I feel like that's starting to build off for the rest of the season. So I'm not upset at all about it. In fact, we've got a week off now, and Glasgow's got time to bed in those new signings. Also, the fact that we'll probably talk about this a little bit more in depth later, but I'm very happy to hear that Glasgow refused for Adam Wharton to go onto England duty. So Glasgow's pulled him out of the under-21s team because he had a groin injury, which he's been feeling since pre-season, apparently.
Yeah.
But he said, just keep him at Palace, let him recover. He has got basically 2 weeks off now. So I'm very happy that that is the case, because for someone of his talent, of his age, we need to try and keep him as fit as possible, really, for as long as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he's so pivotal to the way that we play that, if he was to be injured, we'd lose so much quality in that middle, and we'd lose so much of the style that we play and so much of the build-up and everything. And obviously, he's only young as well. He's still developing. So, see, any injuries he does get would slow that in some way. But yeah, no, I'm glad to see that he wasn't going for maybe a full England call up. I could maybe kind of back it, but for an under-21s, he's not worth it. He's better than that. So yeah, I agree.
Oh, Alexa, stop!
No,
it's always at this damn time.
Is that a reminder?
I think it is.
Reminders on there at the same time every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. I think it's every day. I can't lie, because I think I got hit by one yesterday. Oh, well. Into the comments very quickly. The dog says, yes, dudes, remember, in a sea full of fish, there's always a muffin.
There's always a what?
A muffin. Have you heard that analogy before?
I've never heard that analogy before.
All I know is that the dog's got an Android because all the emojis are just squares.
Oh, I can actually see those emojis. They're salutes.
Boo. Big up chairman. The dog says, "Dogs." Wait, let me get my glasses on. Actually, it's 11 days, not 2 months. Yes, live on Sky as well, and a big up UK Pat saying Nketiah at centre forward. So, Dan, let's get a quick rundown. Are you happy with this transfer window?
Oh, you know what? I'll give it a rating. I'm gonna rate it a 7. I teeter between a 7 and an 8, so maybe 7.5. If you want to do that, because I do think that we kept a hold of Eze, kept a hold of Gay. Elise obviously going was a disappointment, but holding on to someone like caliber is always going to be tricky. The reason why I'm not giving it a 10 is because, one, I feel like we needed to maybe back up our wing backs a little bit better. And also I do think we had, I mean, it's probably out of their control, but nevertheless, it did kind of drag on a little bit. I think had it been done earlier in the window and had we gotten that cover at fullback, wing back, then I probably would have said a 9 or a 10. I think you could argue so I know a lot of people wanted another attacking mid, but without going into it too much, I think Nketiah is a very good signing there. I know Eddie went, but he didn't really fit in the system, so him being there is neither here nor there, in my opinion. Could maybe have had a young centre back perhaps come in as well, but then I think we're kind of getting that with Lacroix. So
And Riyadh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course, yeah, and Riyadh as well. He signed so long ago, I forgot that we actually did that. Yeah, no, I give it a solid 7. Just it didn't have materialise as quickly, and maybe we back cover, and then that's it, really. Yeah.
I think I would also join you giving them a 7, but I would say I'm not too fussed that it dragged out purely because we actually got the players in the first place. So how many times have we seen on deadline day, our Palace are looking to get this person and it just never gets across the line? But it's just nice to know that we've actually got quite a bit across the line, even if it is on the last day. But I would keep it as a 7 though, because I still do believe that a left-footed 10 to play on that right side to like for like replace Elise was probably, in my opinion, I think that's what we should have done. I'm not dissing Sarr at all because he was brilliant when he came on against Chelsea, but I feel like if Sarr's going to play up front or has the ability to play up front, and then we've got Nketiah as well, I feel like we need something a little bit different than Kamada on that right-hand side. Someone that's left-footed on that right-hand side. But that's pretty my only gripe for the whole transfer window.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And actually, another thing I wanted to add actually to the transfer window, I think selling the players that we did sell at the money we managed to sell them for, I actually thought was quite impressive. Apart Elise aside, obviously, I mean, getting 10 million for Sam Johnson, I think, is great business.
It's 100% profit as well, isn't it?
100% profit. We got him on a free. Sell it. Managed saying Jordan Ayew, who's like nearly 34 for like
8 mil.
8 mil is silly. And then also Joachim Andersen, who only had 2 years left in his contract, 28. So nearing probably the other side of his prime. And obviously, I know he didn't stay because of the wages and that, but again, was it 30 mil in the end for that with add-ons? So I think, that's another shout out for our transfer business, and hopefully we use that well in the future.
So bearing in mind what we've just spoke about, we'll touch it very quickly. We sold Elise for 50 mil. We sold Anderson for 30 mil. We sold John Stone for 10. Ayew for 8. And Scott Banks for 750,000, which I forgot about, actually.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I think I mean, Scott Banks is one of those kind of ones where I imagine we probably inserted some sort of sell-on clause as well.
Oh, of course. And then we sent a lot of players out on loan as well.
And obviously we got money from Jake O'Brien as well.
Yeah.
For that sale. So yeah, I think in terms of pure business, I think we did well.
Mm-hmm. And bearing in mind all the sales that we got, we actually came out of this transfer window 20 million euros in the profit, which is actually pretty good. If you think about all the players that we bought, we're actually up on money, and I feel we have actually improved the squad.
I mean, I guess when you think about it in terms of actual outgoings and ingoings, not including like the people like who are released. I mean, that's what outgoings is. What one? Ayew, Elise, Edward, Johnston. So that's 4 off the top of my head. And then coming in, you've got Lacroix, Chalobah, and
Nketiah,
and Riyadh and Kamada. So that's 5. So we've actually increased the number of players as well.
Mm-hmm. So let us. We're still going to use the same graphics, but I think we're going to talk probably the most on the next one, and that is we're not going to call it, even though it says predicted 11. It's the squad. That's what we'll call this segment, the squad. So, here is what our team would look like if we didn't buy anyone. And that is a horror show up front. Because of but
I forgot about stuff, actually, to be honest.
Huh?
I forgot about him, to be honest.
But what I have to say is that we have pulled off a blinder. The most important transfer of this whole transfer window. Matt Turner. What a guy. What a guy. I'm joking. I hope you guys.
He's such a B-list signing that he's not even on the thumbnail. Sorry, Matt, if you're watching.
You forgot about him, didn't you?
No, I didn't forget. I just didn't think it was relevant enough. Sorry.
That's why I spoke about him first.
Sorry, Matt. If you're watching, but I mean, if you want to know some stats about him, didn't do too well last season. He got post expected goals of minus 0.35 per 90.
Oh.
Yeah, per night. Yeah, I know. When I said 0.35, you're probably thinking, oh, that's not too bad, actually, nearly 0. No, per 90. So that ended up being minus 5.9. So hopefully he doesn't play too much.
Yeah. I nearly had a heart attack when Henderson nearly got injured. I'll say that.
But that's Matt Turner. Moving on.
So yeah, Matt Turner. I would say that's probably. It's hard to get a second choice keeper.
Yeah, I agree.
And I feel like it's probably the best thing we could have done on loan in such short notice. The fact that he's already in the country, Forest don't want him, and they've already got 2 other good goalkeepers. I feel like it's probably the best thing we could have done. And also, if you don't look at how he passes the ball out, he's an okay shot stopper. He'll do a job for a few games a season, but that's about it. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know anything about this player, but obviously we did also sign Louis Molden from Wolves, who's a goalkeeper. He's only 22 years old. Potentially, could he push Turner or someone like that? I don't know, but I agree. Turner, second choice goalkeeper is a difficult one because the goalkeeper's got to accept they're not going to be playing much, and yeah, they're never going to be good. It's the same reason how we didn't play Remy Matthews when we had all our goalkeepers injured. He's just there for vibes.
Yeah, he's there for vibes, and he seems to be everyone's friend. Friends. Football
20
friends.
20 grand a week for being good friends with everyone. I'd take that.
You know what? It's like Scott Carson, isn't it? He's got loads of trophies and he don't do nothing.
Yeah, I think he's like a goalkeeper. I think he's like a coach as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But
actually,
let's actually get into some of the signings. So all of our signings are in yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the team that has been playing lately. So Schlupp, you are going to be put so small and you're never going to be seen again, hopefully. So put him over there. And let's put Kamada in there. That's what we play now. So Kamada's come in. Thoughts on Kamada, actually? Are you impressed with him? Is it good business to get him on a free? Or do you think that, or do you agree with me and Chairman and Rich a little bit that great player, outstanding technically, but he needs to go to the gym?
I mean, I kind of agree with both, really. I mean, he probably does need to go to the gym. I don't know, but I think what we're seeing at the moment is just he's getting up to speed with the the Premier League and also Glasner's system. Like, let's not forget when Glasner came in, a lot of our players didn't play well. I suppose they did play well, but they still had to adapt to how he plays. I know he's played under him before, but he was at Lazio in between then. And I do think he's just getting up to speed because I think his positioning, I think, is very good. You can see the ideas that he has. I think it's just about getting up to the Premier League standard of consistency, of being able to do it at that kind of pace of game. And I think he will get there eventually. However long that is, I don't know. But then I think that's why he had such a good pre-season, because he's got those things. He's got that brilliant technical ability, good position, etc. But obviously it's at a much slower pace, so he didn't really look out of place. But now it's actually league games. That's why I think he's looking a little bit out of place.
Mm-hmm. And I think Kamada's a very, very good player. And the fact that we got him for free as well, I think that got to say a well done to Parish and Dougie and even Glasner himself for doing the convincing. Because granted, I think they're paying him about 100,000 a week, but we did that for Max Meyer. We played more for Max Meyer a week. Yeah. And I think Kamada's already light years ahead of that guy.
Yeah, and also I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly sure the player wages now include the agents' fees and stuff like that now, because I know transfers do. So I'm assuming, like, if there's any sign-on fee or anything like that, that's also included in the wages. So I think it ends up being like an average or something like that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Who did we sign next? I think it was Sarr, wasn't it?
No, it was Riyadh.
Riyadh. Unfortunate for him, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
With the injury that he got. Because even though he did look a little bit lost when trying to play the ball out from the back, because he really has a left foot and that's about it. But he was very dominant in the air, very physically strong. We saw that because even in pre-season against West Ham as well, out-muscling Antonio. He did it again there. He had a few good battles with Kudus. Obviously got injured, but for someone as young as him, there's definitely a lot of talent there and there's a lot of room to grow for him. So that's definitely that younger centre-back that we're trying to bring in to mould into a more progressive player for the future.
Yeah, and just looking at how old he is, yeah, no, he's he's not long turned 21. But yeah, I agree, and I think he's another player that because I know he did do some loose passes, I think, against West Ham or whatever it was. But I think another one, like, just getting up to the speed of the league, and eventually I think he'll be class. And it's actually interesting you said that those traits about, like, being good in the air and physically strong and stuff. Because I feel like that's a consistent thing that we are seeming to go for at the moment, like quick, pace it. Same thing, sorry. Quick, strong. But yeah.
I guess so strong, strong, quick, strong, quick.
Really strong.
Well, wait, really or wheelie strong?
Wheelie, pacey, speedy,
Hench.
hench. But yeah, I think it definitely feels like there's a mold there. But
I agree. I think also the fact of we're trying to get composed on the ball.
mhm.
I don't know how you'd say that in less than those words, but composure in the player as well. We're looking at that definitely.
Yeah, definitely composure, and also I think because we do play a high line, I think like the pace element as well is so important.
Yeah, because even though it was only 2 games, or even 1 game, Anderson got caught out a few times just off pace alone in this new system.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was Brentford especially. I remember mainly because I didn't watch the West Ham game, but I remember we got torn apart just because of the lack of pace, both in the middle and also Anderson as well.
Mm-hmm. But like Mark got done for pace, but Mark still kept up to put a challenge in to keep Mbeumo occupied.
Yeah,
but Anderson just couldn't make it back, unfortunately. So
No,
I feel like, as Dan said for the 7th time, pace is very important with our high line.
I think as well, and this might be a bit of an early shout, and maybe slight spoilers for later, but I'm kind of wondering whether we are actually being a bit proactive for once, Crystal Palace. And we've actually signed our Gay replacement already in Riyadh, because Gay plays on the left-hand side. I think, spoilers, but he will continue to play there. Riyadh plays on the left-hand side. Gives him a season to get to the pace of the Premier League. And Richards will just be the eternal backup / competition.
/ injury.
Well, yeah, that's the reason why I don't think he could consistently start for us.
But overall, what was it? How much did we actually buy Riyadh for? It wasn't much, was it? It was 15 million euros, so 12.5 million quid. Great buy from Barcelona. There is a hefty sell-on clause, though, of 25%, but
really?
It's still a good signing.
Yeah.
Next up, Mr.
Turn my light on.
Ismail Sarr. Now, if you told me we bought him 5 years ago, I would have said, great, brilliant, fantastic. But I think I'm still going to say that because he's still got good attributes. He had a few years at Marseille after being at Watford, had his time in the Championship, did well, had his time in the Premier League, did well in patches. Also, he's gone to Marseille and he's played in many different positions. He played on that right wing as he normally does. He's played on that left wing at Rennes before Watford even bought him. Played up front a little bit for Rennes as well. And even, get this, at right wing back for Marseille. So, it's not an ideal option if Munoz gets injured, but it's an option that we have. If you really need to play someone there, you could play Sarr there because he has got the experience there. I think he's got granted, he's not played there very much, but I'm sure he's got 3 or 4 clean sheets because he's technically a defender at that rate as a wing back, which actually isn't the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, he's much more of an attacking wing back. He'll hold that touchline and he'll just run, and sort of brings us on to the point that Dan said earlier quite a few times.
What about pace?
Pace. You know what? Starting right now. Drinking game. If you say pace, you drink.
Hang on, let me go get a beer.
Yeah, I'll get one later. I'll rewatch it and I'll just be slaughtered by the end of it. But it looks like we're trying to get fast players all over the pitch. And for a team that's had no pace for a very long time, pretty much under our whole Hodgson tenure, to then having or buying players that have speed incorporated into every part of their game is a very refreshing feeling. I see Spiritual is saying, please don't play Sarr at wing back. He can't even defend. We know, but he's done it before. And granted, we don't want Munoz to get injured. No one does. But if it happens, we have an option, let's say, that isn't Ward.
To be fair, I would sooner put Klein at right wing back than. I think Sar's there, like in a real pinch. Like if we get the injuries like we did last season, at least he can play there. Do you know what I mean? Sort of like just chucking Mateta there or something like that, or Eze like Gareth Southgate did at the Euros. Actually, ironically, actually did quite well. But
Eze defend. That's the best I've ever seen Eze defend in my life. By the way, well, he did it for England. But Sarr also £12.5 million. No selling clause at all in this one. Very good deal. 5-year contract. He's 25. 26 now. He had his birthday the other day, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Great signing.
Yeah, I think he's a great sign, like you said. And like I said, he's got a lot of pace. But also as well, I think he just adds something different that Kamada doesn't. Also as well, I feel like he can play any three of those front positions. So again, if we are in a bit of a pinch, he can play there.
Yeah.
For me,
versatility is key.
Yeah, and for me, like he's an upgrade on IE, who we got rid of. So
yeah. Now on to all of our deadline day signings.
Ba-da-da-da.
So what I will be doing is I'll be putting these if I think they'll start like I did with Kamada, I'll put them in straight away. So the first one of our deadline day signings was Maxence Lacroix. And I believe that he will play. Actually, no, I'm not even going to say that because it really depends on who else is playing or who else is fit. Because this backline, in my opinion, changes quite a few times depending on who's fit. But with this current roster of players in the backline, this is where I would currently play Maxence Lacroix. He is a 24-year-old Frenchman. I can't remember what his other allegiance is, but I'm not even going to try and pronounce where
is it like Guadeloupe or somewhere like that?
It is exactly that.
So yeah, that's it's French Caribbean island.
There you go. I wasn't even going to try and pronounce it because I was going to butcher it.
I probably didn't pronounce it right. I'm not going to lie.
Well, the first time I ever said Nketiah, I said Nketiah. No, Nketiah or something like that. But
to be fair, I think ironically the guys, our defender's name definitely caused a lot of debate on Twitter of how it's actually pronounced.
This one.
Yeah. I had to Google it. I had to go on YouTube and get it pronounced.
I'm sure it's Maxence Lacroix. I'm sure.
That's what I think too. And like, but then the complicating factor is apparently there's like a famous water brand or something like that that's actually spelt like that, but it's pronounced LaCroix. So,
well, I've heard Chairman say LaCroix. So
that's I think that pronunciation's got holes in it, LaCroix.
Well, it's just saying this, isn't it? The Crocs.
Yeah, LaCroix in French.
But back onto the Crocs.
Well, that's tickled me.
Oh, easy. Dan, please use the catchphrase of the day.
He is actually very pacey.
He's very, very fast. Composed on the ball. Great at passing. Very physically strong as well. Just a player that all around that I feel like... I wouldn't say that he's too good for us, but I would have thought that the talent level that he has, I would have thought he would have gone to another European team.
For the
Granted,
amount of,
there might there's probably a like a project at Palace. He's played under Glasner before, and I think in his starting interview, he said that he had his best season ever under Glasner. So he said it was a no-brainer to come and play under him again, even if it's not in Europe. And that's something that you just want to hear as a fan, really, that you're getting someone that's aspiring to take your club back into Europe where that person is used to playing. So I feel like for the money as well, £50 million is a steal. Granted, he only had 1 year left on his contract, but still, incredible signing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it says a lot about Glasner as well. Like if your former players, two former players now have come back to play under Glasner.
And it was nearly free. We nearly got Kostic on the last day as well.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think he's a great player. I mean, actually, let me get my notes up, which I haven't actually got up yet. So obviously, this is the beginning. The players that maybe people haven't watched so much of. Obviously, like the others we've already seen play for Palace. But these are my notes on what I thought about Maxence Lacroix. S'il vous plaît, français. No, I am France. I don't know.
Yeah.
I did German at school, so I'm excused.
Yeah. The bill, please. That's what that means.
So my positives in defence. So this is what I got. Obviously, feel free to disagree with me if you want, or agree or whatever. The positives. Firstly, he's quick and able to recover well. Yeah, and I think for our high line, that's so important as well because we're going to leave big gaps behind. Obviously, Henderson will try to cover some of that, but then the others will need to be done by the defenders. So that's good. I thought when he was on the ball, he was very good at winning fouls. I thought, which obviously that relieves the pressure on the defense. I also thought he's really good in there. Like I watched about 5 games, and not all of it, just the bits that was relevant to him. And I thought he was really good in the air, both like in the attacking box and also defensively as well. Like, I don't think I saw him miss a header. I don't think I saw him lose an aerial duel, actually, to be honest.
I don't know if you saw it. Did you see the goal he scored against Brentford in pre-season?
Not Brentford. No.
A set piece, the ball gets played over the top. He takes it first time on the volley and just smashes it in the bottom corner.
No, I didn't see that. That's a very good. That's a very that's a very nice. That was a very nice goal. If you want to see another good goal that he scored, it's not from a set piece, but he
scored where he just absolutely twats it from outside the box.
Yeah, oh, mate, that was an absolute banger. But demonstrating like how well I know. So his aerial duels won. He wins about 56 last season, 56%. Before that, 60%. Before that, 62%. 62% was when it was Glasner, I think. No, it wasn't. Sorry, but 62%. By comparison, last season, that's less than Joachim Andersen, but would be better than Richards, Gay, Klein. So, you know, we're getting someone who is good in the air. The other notes I had. The other positives I had in terms of like an attacking sense, I thought he was very press resistant. Like if he gets the ball, I feel like he didn't lose the ball very much. Although I did see when he got sent off once, and he did kind of mess it up a little bit. So, but generally speaking, I thought he's very good on the ball. He rarely lost it. But he's very, very comfortable with his short passing. But also, I thought his long passing. We did speak about this before. But I thought his long passing was actually very nice as well. Like he seemed to have 2 nice long passes in his locker. A very nice sort of like low drilled kind of like spreading the play kind of pass, but also a very nice sort of like a little dink. So like you see like you see on the pitch there where you've got like Kamada and Eze and like perhaps like they're like dropping off the back line just to move into space.
Yeah,
he was very good at dinking just little balls over the top. Into those kind of areas for players to pick up. And yeah, and it with both of those types of passes, it was going past like the lines of pressure of the defending team. So that was very nice. And also I noticed that he did do that more so obviously with his right foot because he is right-footed, but he wasn't afraid of using his left foot if he needed to, which I think is very, very important. As a defender, because you need to access both of those sort of channels.
Mm-hmm.
The things that I thought were negatives were now this one was either a positive or a negative depending on how you look at it.
Is it that he's a bit of a head case?
Well, I guess kind of. I just said maybe he's too aggressive defensively, as in like he's definitely the kind. He's like Anderson in the sense of like he will like if the player's got the ball in front of him, he's going to run towards.
He's going to step out of his line early.
Yeah.
But he has the pace to recover from it. That's the difference.
Yeah, and I think it's good when you win the ball. Obviously, it's high risk, high reward sort of thing. Like if you win the ball, great. Then you're setting your team up on the counter. But then if you lose it, then you're going to need to make that recovery run. The only other two things I thought were a bit, maybe a bit meh, were I didn't think his blocking was that great. And I didn't think he was very good at showing players down the line because the games that I watched, he was playing at the right centre-back role for Wolfsburg. Admittedly, this was under Ralph Hasenhüttl when they weren't doing very well, so it could be the system, I don't know. But I thought he could have done a bit better with showing players down the line, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know. But other than that, I mean, that's a lot more positives than I had negatives, and I think there's definitely a place for him in the system.
And also the price tag as well. To get all those positives in that kind of price bracket is incredible business.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think, like, looking at the system we play, I think the forward stuff, like the being press resistant, the passing, the being able to use both feet, brilliant in the air, etc. I think the forward stuff is actually, I would say, arguably just as important as the defensive stuff for these centre backs now. So yeah.
And granted, this is the last signing that we made, but I think it's most relevant now after talk about Lacroix, is Trevor Chalobah. Obviously, he's only on loan, so you can't get too excited, but I am still pretty excited about this signing. Not only because I went to school with him, but...
Did you actually?
Yes. He was never allowed to play football with us.
Really? What, because of injuries or because he was too good?
Because Chelsea didn't want him getting injured.
Oh, yeah, that happened.
Because the football pitches were just concrete, they said, yeah, he cannot kick a football at school.
Oh, that is so long.
But he did, but... He didn't.
Maybe that's why Chelsea have frozen him out. They found out now.
There you go. Who snitched? It weren't me.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But Chalobah comes in. What happens here? Here's what I think happens. Richards, you've had a good run, mate. Have a rest. But what I do think happens is Mark moves from the centre back over to the left where he was when we played 4 at the back. Lacroix then moves into the middle and Chalobah then onto the right. And before I even talk about what Chalobah brings to a team and the fact that he's very good at everywhere along the back line. He's played at left back, he's played at left centre back, right centre back, central centre back, and he's played at right back. He can play everywhere across the defence. He's even played in DM 1 or 2 times. He was a bit shocking, but he can do it. And I'd much rather him do it than Richards if it got to that. But even then, we could actually play Mark in there. If he gets mad, we put Mark in there, Richards at the back. Anyway, off topic. But before I really talk about what Chalobah can bring, he's also done strong pace, goal threat, which is something that has been a little bit of a common occurrence with these 2 centre backs that we've got. I'm not trying to jump the gun here, but this backline with the wing backs gives me very much Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea kind of vibes. And I say that because I'm sure that season that Chelsea actually won the Champions League, I'm sure that Rudiger was their top scorer.
Oh, I'm not sure.
But their centre backs were scoring left, right, and centre, weren't they?
Yeah.
I've got a feeling something like that could happen with us this season. Because all of them fast, all of them strong, all of them composed on the ball, all of them very good in the air, and all of them can score a goal. Granted, Chalobah scored his first ever goal against us and started crying about it, but we'll forgive him if he starts scoring goals for us. I would say, unfortunately, this is a loan, no option to buy, no obligation to buy. I'd love there to be an obligation or an option to buy because he is an outstanding footballer and he's going to impress a lot of us. Let's say it's our annual make one of Chelsea's forgotten players into a starting player for the next season for them, isn't it? You can tell.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hope that the way they've treated him will make him not want to go back there. But my sneaky suspicion is that he'll come to us, he'll play well, might even get into an England squad, and then it's going to be a position where at the end of the season where Chelsea are happy to sell him, but because he's contracted until 2028, they're going to ask for some top dollar. So
serious cashola.
Yeah, so that's my only negative with this one. But I mean, in terms of the actual player himself for this season, yeah, he's good. He covers so well aerially. I thought he was very solid. Again, good in the air, pacey, strong. Also, as well, I thought the way he defends our right hand half space on the edge of that box. I think he does that so well. Like in the games I watched, like no joke, he genuinely gave me like AWB vibes, like the way he would just force someone down the wing and then just tackle them. And I think when if he's at that right centre back role, you got to think he's going to be covering for Munoz, who's basically going to be in the opposition box for the whole game anyway. Being able to cover that space is going to be so important. And being able to defend it again, so important. And that's for me why I'm sure we'll talk about this a bit more in depth later. But why I would be that would be my starting back line, Gay, Lacroix, and Chalobah, because I think they just complement each other so well. And obviously he's got that experience. He's won the league, won the Champions League, so. That's ridiculous experience compared to everyone else, really, when you think about it.
And it could also be. I'm not saying it's going to be on a level or the age, but the fact I feel like it would be quite similar to our not even our loan, our free transfer of Gary Cahill, like someone with extreme levels of experience. They've played at the highest level. They've won literally everything you can win in football, but the fact that he's still young. The fact that he's still got that pace, that strength that you get from a young player with the experience on top, I feel like it's going to be an incredible acquisition for us. And I think that we said it, that they've all got like their slightly different, I guess, party tricks, let's say. So Marks is getting the ball, taking a nice touch forwards and dribbling past people. Lacroix can also do that, but I think Lacroix's got that passing ability, the raw pace. Like obviously the long passing, the fact that he can dump it into like a space and hope someone runs onto it. But with Chalobah, his sort of party trick is he can do what De Zerbi was doing at Brighton, where he would slow the play down, sort of stand on the ball, wait for someone to press him, and then do like a ball roll or a step over, and then make a lovely reverse pass to absolutely to take about 3 or 4 players out of the game just in one line breaking pass. And Chalobah does that quite often when he used to play for Chelsea. And having that kind of passing ability and then seeing Wharton and Decore, who will then split to make space, and then you look forwards and you think, if he can play a pass like that and he can get it through our midfield and go from the defence straight to the strikers, that would be perfect for us, because all three of our strikers, they all play in such close proximity that that ball could make a long pass and then go pop, 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 and then we're in.
Yeah.
So he could theoretically have one nice reverse pass, which could then go from him to a striker straight into goal, basically. So all three of our centre backs have a good attacking output, and they can make chances in all different ways, which is very, very important. And it's nice to know that we've got, obviously, Anderson's passing ability is amazing, probably the best passing ability out of, I would maybe even say every player I've ever seen play for Palace. That's how good Anderson's passing is. But if you told me he would go, but you get 3 different ways of attacking from the back, I would say that's actually quite a fair trade-off.
Yeah, definitely. And I
if
think,
not an improvement.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you start having different ways of attacking people, like if you've got one attack, obviously they know what you're going to do, so they're just going to defend it. But if you've got several ways of attacking that are all equally as good, I think it's more about, the lack of weakness rather than having a brilliant strength, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And finally, our biggest purchase, Eddie Nketiah. Dan, where does he go? Does he stay on the bench? And does he come on later? Where does he play? What are the different formations up front and options that we could play with an Nketiah?
So I put a post out on Twitter when a few days after we signed him, about what I thought about this. And the things that I said was, 1, he provides competition and backup to Mateta as a striker. So if Mateta drops stinkers or, gets injured, Nketiah is there to take that mantle. Alternatively, I think we could play with one lone 10.
Would that be Eze or Kamada?
Eze. And then you'd have Nketiah and Mateta up front. So then that provides a different situation for the defending team to try and deal with. Like I said, the more types of attack you have, types of effective attack that you have, the better, because they need to learn lots of different ways to try and defend against you. But also, I do think Nketiah has the skill set to also just play as the right-sided attacking midfielder. And the way I want to kind of say this is that I think it's more of a dynamic thing that could happen within the game. Like, I don't think the game will set out as being Nketiah is the right attacking mid and he will stay there. I think it could be a case of like one attack, maybe he is the attacking midfielder. Maybe the following attack, maybe he pushes up, maybe next to Mateta instead. Again, so that they're able to, just vary the attack and just give the defenders more things to think about, really. And that's why I wasn't too worried about getting another attacking mid in, because I do think Nketiah actually provides a more dynamic way of attacking.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think also the fact that in this system, granted we're talking about Michael Elise here, but the amount of times that we saw Elise in front of goal with not many people on him as well. Mm-hmm. So, as an example, let's just put Hughes and Ward. Let's just pretend that these guys are opposition players, and they're like the right back and the right centre back, let's say, and they've got the ball over here, and our press trigger is this, and this. Then, Nketiah being a striker with that ability in the box, what can then fill in on the other side, for example, and then that's also the same thing for if it's on the other side of the pitch. These two go. Munoz comes up. Eze drops in. So because of how close they all are, they're sort of always rotating that position. So no one's ever the sole striker unless it's a goal kick and you need to hit JP, let's say.
Yeah.
But throughout the game, the rotation is what makes Crystal Palace's attack click at the end of last season.
Definitely. And I think with Nketiah as well, I think Nketiah is one of those players that because he's at one of the best teams in the country and didn't necessarily get the minutes, I think that's why people didn't necessarily rate him as highly as I think they should. I think had he come through at, say, I don't know, just someone who wasn't going for the title, even like someone like Aston Villa or going for like maybe a Europa League place, I think he would be much more highly rated because, I mean, statistically, he's a good finisher. He links up with the play really well, hence why I said he can play as the attacking mid. He's also surprisingly really good in the air. Let me get his, because I'm fairly sure it's actually better than Mateta's. So
I'm surprised how good he is at holding the ball up.
Yeah, and then that was going to be my next point. He's really good at holding the ball up. And honestly, I swear to God, he is just as good as Ayew at winning fouls, which we all know how good he is at doing that. But just for that, yeah, Mateo had 42% completion last season, whereas Nketiah had 46%. So, yeah, he does a lot, and also not only will he ask for balls to the feet, but he's also happy to make a run in behind as well.
Okay.
And again, going back to what we said about, oh, for God's sake. I was doing so well.
No, I thought when you said balls into feet, I thought he was going to say something else after that. Balls somewhere else.
I thought I said something else. Okay, never mind then. Oh, okay, yeah, that is what I thought I said, but obviously I didn't say it.
You didn't say it, but you basically did.
Yeah, but like going back to that dynamic attack, if you've got Mateo who's happy to run in behind, and Nketiah who's happy to run in behind, all it takes is just to mix it up a little bit, so they take it in turns to run in behind. Again, you're going to confuse the defense a bit more and have them having to think about things a bit more. But
yeah, because Nketiah is such a strong and willing runner, he will always press the ball as well. So
yeah,
there's been quite a few times where I have seen Arsenal fans saying, "Why is Nketiah our only guy pressing?" I've seen, like, you know what Munoz does, how at least once or twice a game he's the one pressing the goalkeeper. And Nketiah does that as well for Arsenal in a very restricted system where it's not, I guess it's sort of frowned upon to push that high up into the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
But if Nketiah can do that sort of extra bit of pressing up front, it means it could alleviate a little bit of the workload from Munoz, so he doesn't have to run all the way to the goalkeeper and run all the way length of the pitch back again. If we've got someone up front who's willing to run in behind, they're willing to run all game, and they're also willing to press, I think we've got ourselves a winner here. Also, he's 25, not too old, not too young. He's sort of coming into his prime now.
Yeah.
And also, he is decently quick as well.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Quick. Prem proven. I know the only thing I did want
in the box kind of striker, actually.
Yeah.
We haven't had in a while.
And that brings me on nicely to what I was going to say, is that I know there's been stats floating around on Twitter.
Yeah, he's only scored 5 goals in the season and you're paying 30 million.
Firstly, stop using stats like that because it's terrible and you're making everyone look like idiots. But secondly, it's about the minutes because one appearance is one appearance. If you step on the pitch for a minute, that's an appearance. Whereas if you actually look at Nketiah's goals per minute ratio, I think his worst one was like 1 every 3 games. And you got to bear in mind that most of his minutes come when Arsenal are trying to defend the lead, not when they're going for a lead. So, you know, bear those things in mind and don't believe everything you see on there.
100%. 100%. So with all these acquisitions and all our different ways of attacking, our different ways of defending, what do you think this team could bring to Crystal Palace by the end of the season? Now, what do you think Glasner's cooking for us at the end of the season? or even throughout the season?
I mean, I think best case scenario, and we start clicking like we did at the end of last season, like assuming like Eze stops trying to do everything himself, that Wharton gets over whatever groin injury problem he has, Decore manages to come back like he was, etc. In those,
How good was he against Chelsea though?
oh, he was excellent. He was excellent. Very, very, very close to what his best, I think. So, yeah, I've got no worries about him coming back as he was. But in that scenario, perfect scenario, I think we could push for Europe. I think it'll be a very, very tough ask. There's very, very good teams in that top 7. So where that's going to be a very, very big ask. But I do think we will progress more. I think we'll see more success in the Cups this season than the league. I think we'll finish top 10 this season again, but I think we'll see more success in, say, the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup. Just because I feel like Glasgow gives me sort of like, I don't want to say cup manager vibe, but I feel like, I don't really know how to explain what I mean, but like I feel
He
like
doesn't seem like the kind of guy that Hodgson is, where he'd throw away the cup to prioritise the league.
well, that, and also like I just feel like if it's like 1v1 and like I really don't know how to explain it. It's like if you're like 1v1 in the ring and you're coming to blows, I just feel like Glasner is such a good like tactician. Yeah, like tactical puncher. I feel like his style of football just suits like a one-off sort of game that win at all costs sort of mentality, I guess. So that's why I can't.
I mean, that sort of, I guess if you put it that way, that sort of shows in his Europa League win. It was 1-1, went into extra time. I think they should have won it as well against Rangers, and then they won on penalties, didn't they?
Yeah. I'm just trying to. I thought. Oh, he came runner. Oh, yeah, and he came runner up in the season after with the German Cup as well. So
his style of football suits knockout football.
I think so. I mean, to be fair, his style of football suits league football as well. But I just think, I think we'll just see more success in the cups this season. I just have a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm not going to say no to another Wembley visit. So
whether it's Carabao or FA Cup, I couldn't care less.
And I mean, you think about it, like if
we've had quite a few trips to Wembley for a club like us. To be fair,
we have, because I mean, obviously we had the semi-final under Vieira, we had the FA Cup final, then obviously we had the playoff final. I'm just trying to see what round, because I mean, assuming we beat QPR, well, let's say that if we beat QPR, we go into the 4th round, which I'm fairly sure is only 2 rounds away from the semis. So, and considering the teams that we beat at the end of last season, I would say if we can replicate that form, I don't see why we can't go quite far in either cup.
Mm-hmm. Are there any other things that you want to add that you've got written down, maybe?
So the only other thing, just to finish off, was I did an Excel spreadsheet of the players that we've got and just the depth. And then I'm just going to colour it in with the players that I think are...
Do you want to try and zoom in a bit, mate?
Oh, is that... Wait, maybe if I get rid of that. How's that?
Yeah, that's good.
I'll tell you what, let me go in far and then I'll zoom out again at the end.
Yeah, sweet.
Okay, cool. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, damn it. I need the colour.
All right. That's fine. That's fine. I just changed our thing to as if we're on the football thing, on the football pitch,
cool.
So we can see everything now.
Cool. Right, so I'm going to colour in green the players who I think are good enough to start for us in that specific position. Yellow, I think, is good enough for a backup, and red is like, I don't really think they should be playing there at all. Okay, so Henderson obviously gets a green, Turner, yellow, and Matthews in red.
Friends.
Now this obviously the whole back line I think gets a green for me, and I think even here I would say this gets a green. I haven't filled in all the players because it could have been like twice as long, so I'm just not going to bother. I do think maybe Ward can get a yellow there, and these two can get a red here. I think Schlupp at left wing back deserves a red.
He just deserves a blank. He just don't even deserve to be there.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I forgot about Saar, so I'm just gonna do Klein. Klein's gonna have a yellow. I think he can do a job there, maybe, but I mean, I don't know if I want to test that.
He's so right-footed. I wouldn't even want to try it.
Yeah,
but if he was to put Saar, would you put him as a yellow?
I've never seen him play there. To be honest,
I'll put him as a red then. He can cover a position.
Yeah, I think midfield cover very good.
I'll put Kamada as a yellow.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah. Kamada's yellow, and then here I think they all deserve greens. Now I do think these can be green. I think these can be green. I think these can be green. I think Saar is okay up front, but it's like putting Jordan Ayew up front. Like, I think he can do a job there, but that's it. France, I'm going to put in yellow because obviously he's been injured for so long, and we only seen him play one game under Glasner, so we don't know what he's going to be like. And Schlupp, get a red, buddy. No, actually, I think that's harsh. I think he deserves a yellow.
He can score a banger every so often.
Yeah, in the left attacking mid. So, in terms of what I think our depth is like,
it's okay.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good, and I think that's pretty consistent with what we said earlier as well.
Like we both said that in a transfer window, we should have done a bit more of that left wing back.
Yeah, but otherwise, I think that's great, and especially this, right centre back, because you could have you could have Chalobah, Lacroix, Gay, you could have Lacroix, Gay, Richards. And then even then, you've got Klein, who I think has been brilliant at right.
So you could have Klein, Lacroix, Riyadh if you really wanted it. Like if you got mad, like you could mix and match it.
Exactly. And to be fair, I wouldn't. I mean, maybe Richards at central centre back might be a bit iffy, but that's not bad. Do you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be against him being there. So yeah. So overall, I'm happy with that. Yeah. So unless it gets crazy like last season, then we're okay.
Let's fly through some comments. Big up to all 34 of you watching today, watching us ramble about a game that we're not even going to play for the next 2 weeks. Rich here saying, great point, Dan. That was almost going strong pace, strong pace.
Quick, speedy.
Hench.
Rapid.
Akinfenwa Jr. Kamada will come good. He really stepped it up in the second half against Chelsea, I have to say. Richards is a lot slower than we all thought. He got absolutely roasted at Brentford, but they have unusually fast forwards.
Yeah, Chardon
and Mbeumo are rapid. Ridiculous. And Wisser as well as a striker. Yeah, it's a long day for any centre-backs, really.
Yeah, definitely.
I also think that we are also trying to get players that have been influenced and possible Champions League players due to former clubs, Richards and Riyadh.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout, actually. Yeah. Because I suppose you can also add in Nketiah to that list. Chalobah. Lacroix, even he's played in the Champions League. Kamada.
Europa League winner.
Yeah.
The dog troll in here.
And Saar would have played Europa League football last season as well.
Yes, he did. Gary Cahill, Scott Down, and Martin Kelly were all rapid. Mostly at the buffet, but, we move. Caleb, big up yourself, saying Lacroix is the South London Saliba. I mean, there are a few similarities between the two, I have to say. Saliba's probably still better, but, you know, we don't know until he kicks the ball in the Premier League. I wouldn't listen to America on pronunciation.
How about the Croix, the water bottle?
Le Crocs. 4 yellows and 3 reds for Lacroix.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah, that would be a problem, but I mean, I feel like if Glasner can handle him, then you know, I feel like kind of eradicates.
I mean, what I would say is that we bought Luka Milivojevic, who was a red card merchant in Turkey, and he only ever got 1 red card for us, and he played for us for ages.
True.
So,
and to be fair to Lacroix, I haven't seen all the reds, but the red I did see earlier was quite an unlucky red. Like I feel like it was quite a harsh red. He was a last man. Personally, I felt like he could have recovered, but it's what it is.
But he is also the top joint goal scorer and centre back in the Bundesliga last year.
So true.
Big up Ron saying I love the South London vibes now. Chalobah starts over Richards. Is Nketiah left-footed? I think he's right-footed. Very right-footed.
Yeah, he's right-footed.
Big up Pat saying Nketiah can play centre forward, left wing, Eze right wing, Kamada. Oh no, Nketiah centre forward, Eze left, Kamada on the right. Cobham defence. 2 out of 3. Big up Outlet. Big up from Vietnam.
Big up.
Listen, how you found us, I will never know. But I'm very grateful. How do you know that, Pat? He's a child. He shouldn't know what that is. 5-3-2. Yeah, swapping around. I guess it's more of a 5-2-1-2 because Eze is sort of in the pocket instead of within the 3 in the middle. Personally, think Nketiah has always been always an individual tactically. Are you trying to mean he's selfish or good in front of goal? I'm not exactly sure that one. Doesn't make sense. 190 minutes per goal, and França played against Burnley last year.
Yeah, I think
França played well under Glasner, even though he only had a few appearances. He won a penalty, and I think he got another assist, didn't he?
I think he only had. I think that was his only appearance, and then he got injured because then he proposed to his missus on the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, and he got a groin injury. And then a back injury.
Lava.
Dan has just smudged his camera. I don't know what have you done.
It just went out of focus, like just for no reason. And I'm just trying to. Last time I did it and it fixed itself, I did that. Like let it kind of reset, and then but it's not working. So
anyway.
Pat's 5 back. He knows what that means. He's a grown-up boy now.
Oh, grown-up friends. You know what? This was a good one. I like this TACT-EAGLE. Bit different. Actually talking about players that we're getting in rather than, like, I guess, game-by-game tactics. But I'm just happy that we've had a decent window. It might not have been a 10, but it's still very good. I will definitely say that overall, I think our starting 11 has decreased slightly, but our overall team has gotten so much better. Yeah,
I think so. I mean, yeah, and I think, to be fair, and the thing is, I think you can caveat that as well. Like, you know, if you lose Elise, like you're always gonna have.
You're losing a world-class player. You're gonna have a hole in your squad, no matter what team you are. Yeah. Even if Real Madrid lose Vinny Jr., they're gonna have a hole in their squad, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Elise's been flying at Bayern, and I think that says everything, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, he did a bloody. What was that kick called? Where he kicked
Rabona.
Yeah, I don't know. Oi.
It is actually,
but still, it was a great attempt. I think Gnabry should have scored it, to be fair, but still, to even think about doing that, and actually making it look half decent.
And considering that he hit it with his right foot, we know he ain't got a right
Yes,
foot as well.
right-footed Elise. Hell no.
Now that is OP.
If
That's what happened. When he was born,
if Elise had a right foot as well as a left foot, bruv, Mbappe, beware. That's all I'm saying.
that's what happened when he came out the womb. I don't believe in God, but God said, "Oh, this guy has no right foot because otherwise he'll be ridiculously good at football."
Hey, you're saying God nerfed Elise?
Basically, yeah.
They said, yeah, he's too sick. He just came out the womb. My mom was like, yeah, this FIFA card's too sick. You know, we need to. The weak foot's got to be 1 star.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I do agree. I think first 11 maybe gone a bit worse, but the depth I think is there minus the wing backs.
Well, I think that settles it, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Big up to the 35 people that are watching. This one ran over a little bit again, but it's a little bit different of a conversation, so why not? And I think the main takeaway of this whole stream today is that with the additions that we've made, and if we kept Elise, we're winning the league. Up the Palace.
Up the
Eagles!
Eagles!
Eagles!